That's the flag charging. And then everybody should try to. Rumble, like YouTube, check us out, subscribe, type in iNewsWire on Rumble, all that. Purdue DA Jason Anderson says that, I don't want to say it, person charged with murder for 3 people on the 10 when his big rig plowed into that, causing a horrific wreck. Should not have been in the country, should not have been in California. 3 people lost their lives because Gavin Newsom, the California politicians, will not follow the law. That appears to be what's happening. That's my opinion. Here's ABC 7.
In Ontario are describing the tragedy.
This is dash cam video from inside the red big rig as the driver plowed into multiple vehicles. 3 people were killed. Jashan Preet Singh was the driver of that semi. He's accused of driving under the influence and being in the U.S. illegally. Eyewitness News reporter Leticia Juarez is live in Rancho Cucamonga with the details.
Well, Javon, I can tell you there is actually some dispute over his actual status here in the country, with the Trump administration saying that he was illegal, but according to California Transportation saying that his status here was actually legal. So we're still trying to learn more about that.
No, we're not trying to learn more about that. Newsom wants him in. Biden legalized him. Trump, when he came in, said, cancel all these driver's license for the illegals, especially the commercial ones. We're withholding $40 million. Gavin Newsom gave Trump the middle finger. Now 3 people more are dead. Sans the Florida deal. How long is this crap going to have to go on before we do anything?
If he committed fraud to get it, or if someone at the DMV helped him get it.
The San Bernardino County District Attorney's Office says eyewitnesses and dash cam video show Singh traveling at a high rate of speed into stopped traffic along the westbound 10 freeway in Ontario, causing a chain reaction crash. Meanwhile, the Department of Homeland Security has also issued an immigration arrest detainer on Singh, who they say entered the U.S. illegally from India in 2022. Of the 3 people killed was former Pomona High School Red Devils assistant basketball coach Clarence Nelson and his wife Lisa. The 76-year-old memorialized in a post to the high school's Facebook page, which read, "Rest in peace, Coach Nelson and his wife."
How much more of this are we going to have to endure? How long are we going to tolerate this stuff? He was in court today being charged with his interpreter. He's driving a truck and cannot read or understand or speak English, it appears. When are we going to stop being stupid on steroids and knock this stuff off? Pomona High School coach, his wife, another are dead. Deader than a doornail. Because Gavin Newsom, Joe Biden, everybody else has been supporting illegals are dead. Clarissa Cervantes, whomever, please come in and defend your actions. Make your case. We'll give you a shot. Dude was gonna steal a Rolex watch. We'll get to that in a minute, but he wound up with a surprise. There was a Moval councilwoman and her daughter on a junket to Toronto, or what the heck is really going on? Here's the CBS 2 report.
and for some, they turned into diehards.
Yes, joining us now, Dodgers superfan Lorena Santa Cruz and her mom. Good morning, you two. Go Dodgers. Okay.
First, we know, where are you? We heard you were headed to Canada for the game. Did you make it there?
We are in Canada. We're
Right.
on the side of the road waiting. We're on our way to the hotel in Hamilton.
Okay, great. The other important part, do you have tickets yet? I know you guys have followed the Dodgers around the world, but I hear one of your strategies is to kind of wait last minute to get tickets.
Right. Tickets were 1,100 2 days ago, 700 yesterday, and they're 500 today. So
You got the.
It's kind of interesting. Elena's daughter, got billing over her being the councilwoman, which is how it probably should be. $500, $1,100. I just can't fathom paying that much for a ticket. But go, you two gals. I know you guys are out of control fans of the Dodgers, but I don't know. But have fun. Got to enjoy yourselves because everything else is too crazy. Immigration again. We're crying the crocodile tears. Oh, are people intimidated because of the ICE rates to vote in Prop 50 or whatever? Shut up. If you're in this country legally and lawfully and you're registered to vote, you should have no fear. It's pretty simple. In Barstow, the dad who reported his 2-year-old missing after the floods has been charged with murder up there. Absolutely incredible, stunning case. Tragic. After a month, the DA has charged him with murder for his son's murder. Something else. We get to the story of this. Dude was going to steal a Rolex watch. He wound up with a surprise. Here's NBC4 investigates.
NBC4 investigates has obtained new video of an attempted robbery in West Hollywood. Police say a man with a gun tried to steal a Rolex from a pedestrian, but he may have picked the wrong target. That man is a former professional fighter, and he fought back. NBC4's Alex Rozier just spoke exclusively with him. Joins us live with the story. Alex.
Yeah, that man was walking down Sweetser Avenue with his girlfriend in West Hollywood when someone jumped out of a car with a gun and targeted his Rolex. But the gunman didn't get away with anything. In fact, he was beat up, and the scuffle was caught on camera.
I'm not sure, but something's going on. Please come. Surveillance cameras captured the chaotic scene in West Hollywood as a neighbor frantically called 911 after witnesses say an armed man tried to steal someone's Rolex.
Someone's got a gun. Someone pulled it on someone. Someone tried to tackle a nice lady. It's happening in front of my house.
The target turned out to be a retired professional fighter who was out for a walk with his girlfriend. That retired fighter didn't want to show his face, but he spoke exclusively with NBC4.
Small black sedan pull up. Guy jumped out with a gun, came at me and attacked me. I was able to disarm and take the gun from him. I had him pinned down. He was trying to get up.
And the gun was loaded?
The gun was loaded when they pulled the chamber back. One popped out of the chamber, so it was ready to go.
His girlfriend quickly jumped in to help.
You saw his gun too.
I'm the one that when the gun was wrestled.
Being one of the last persons you want to tangle with is a professional boxer. And the dude's lucky he didn't get the S thoroughly beat out of him, which you probably should, but, well, there's all sorts of stupid laws we have that we need to correct in this country that on how you were able to defend yourself. Riverside dad and his son protected their favorite candy shop. CBS 2 reporter, here we go.
Boy has been viewed 3.7 million times on TikTok. Now, they discovered the door had been left unlocked and wanted to help out.
When the store owner found out what a lifesaver they were, Our Nicole Comstock shows us now. She wanted to do something to sweeten their day.
Let this story serve as a lesson that not all heroes wear capes. Some just stand guard over small businesses.
Hello?
It was a sweet slice of life caught on camera between a father and his 4-year-old son.
Daddy. Hold on.
When Connor Smith realized this new candy store in their favorite shopping center left its doors unlocked at closing time, he was compelled to do something about it.
We need to go find the security guard and tell them that this place is unlocked.
They went to find a phone number for the property's security company, then returned, and Dad read the bulk candy rules aloud to his son.
No sampling for food.
As they patiently waited outside the door for a security guard to come lock up the shop.
My first thought was that somebody is going to take advantage of the situation. And then what if they feel like they want to close, or if they lose too much inventory and they can't stay open? And that would bum my kids out, which would bum me out.
It was a simple but teachable moment about how to help a neighbor for little Charlie.
I didn't know the security guard had to come.
But he did come over and help, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uptown Candy Shop just opened its newest location here on Canyon Crest Drive in Riverside a week ago.
They just walked off like nothing happened, as if they didn't just save my business that night.
With all the chaos going on, there's another feel-good story of a dad. Hey, we had to protect the candy shop. Somebody else, watching out for somebody else. How many times we see people not driving by or drive by, don't want to get involved. He did the right thing, said, hey, get over here, went out of his way to make sure that the shop, and stayed there till the shop was secured. Restores maybe a little bit of faith back in humanity. Lots of polling stuff coming on. We'll be dealing with Prop 50, California, how people really feel. We're back to the tax the rich crap again. This is what's the ballroom is just a ruse. There's going to be, really, that demolition, here's the secret. Here's the conspiracy. The real construction going on the east wing of the White House is a new DC Trump Tower coming to you very soon. You'll be able to stay at the White House. Young Americans identifying as trans, non-binary, and free fall as experts pinpoint what's behind the shift. Really? The Great Feminization, great review by Helen Andrews. That and much, much more coming up on today's show. We'll have lots of fun. Yeah, we're running a little bit behind at technical problems, as we do at times, getting on. But we were only about 5 or 10 minutes late, so it's not that big a deal. A lot of what we talk about, hopefully we'll get everything in, what people really want. You've got NASCAR and things like that. This happened, a few years.
Henson, cleared by Logano, maybe no. Henson takes him out. Logano into the wall. Caution comes out and the crowd roars.
Right.
By Logano, maybe no. Henson takes him out. Logano into the wall. Caution comes out and the crowd roars.
The crowd roars.
Joey Logano running second.
Hear the crowd. Listen to the crowd. We'll try it again.
Cleared by Logano, maybe no. Henson takes him out. Logano into the wall. Caution comes out and the crowd roars. The red flag is out as they will have to clean the track up. Couple races ago in Kansas, the team told.
As you see, this is what people want. People don't want to see bland. They don't want to see this. They want to see excitement. They want to see the crash. Let's cut to the chase, as they say, of what really happens. Here's Jimmy Spencer.
How you have to recognize the fans. That's where the NHR is kicking everybody's ass. I walked down the red carpet at Vegas. I don't recall any driver signing anybody's autograph. I remember Terry Labonte. I said, man, Terry, these crowds are crazy. He says, come with me. We go to the Unical building at Charlotte. Earnhardt's in there. He says, just follow Earnhardt. And Earnhardt, that's some signing autographs. Wait a minute. Did you hear what I said? Dale Earnhardt is signing autographs. That's why he was what he was. That's some of the problem with NASCAR.
The Fox deal with the NHRA that was after hours would be kind of hard this time of year for anyone, to be football, plus NASCAR to be on those channels because football is. But FS1 over the years now has developed into a good channel. Like TNT, when they're into basketball and doing all that stuff, you navigate there first right now. And we were doing that back in the day when the Cup races were on TNT and on the TNN and all that stuff because that's the only place you could get it.
We're so diluted on channels. My old buddy, 80-some years old, he says, what channel is it on this week? 1 o'clock, football is going to start. And I think NASCAR needs to look at that and say, listen, we're going to start these damn races at this time.
Give the people,
got about 1 minute, Roy.
Give the people what they want.
1 minute.
Don't jerk them around on the starts and all this and try to make everything antiseptic. Give the people throwing helmets, crashing cars. That's what they want to see. Quit trying to film it. We're going to get into the great feminization with Helen Andrews. As Sean said, we'll be joining the Monument KMET here.
30 seconds.
In 30 seconds now. Of that, we'll get into that. Why kids are rejecting the whole tranny phenomenon after trying to be talked into it. It was all a ruse. We'll get into that and much, much more. The rest of the half hour that we're lucky we're on here because I had to spend 30 minutes just trying to get the end.
Here we go, 10 seconds.
PatriotSwitch.com.
IE Newswire Daily is on the air.
The following is a paid program. Views and claims expressed are those of the program producer and are not endorsed by this station. Opinions expressed are not necessarily those of radio station KMET, its management, employees, or affiliates.
There's that funky slide guitar music that comes on every Monday through Friday live at 5:30 on the Monument, 1490 AM, broadcasting all over the Inland Empire and the aforementioned AM band. Join our vast video audience in Evil FP Network, Rumble, X, YouTube. Check us out, subscribe, do all that good stuff on that. San Bernardino County District Attorney Jason Anderson posted after charging whatever the J-Man thing is, the illegal, this is the most evidence we have now, slammed into stop cars on the 10 freeway there in Ontario, killing 3. Jason Anderson, the district attorney of San Bernardino County, California, and we posted it. He posted a press release. He said Singh should not have been in California or the United States. Gavin Newsom, stuff it up your ass. Trying to blame Trump or it's a federal license and that, yeah, Joe Biden let him have them. Trump came in and said, no, get rid of him. You gave Trump the middle finger because you think you're a badass or you're trying to convince half the country to go down this road of destruction. Sean Duffy, the transportation secretary, sent you a letter saying $40 million ain't coming because you will not take the commercial driver's license away from illegals that should not have them. Again, you gave him the middle finger and you're strutting your little feathers, getting all the little ladies that think you're oh so cute, try and follow you down a path of destruction. Screw you. Screw your attitude more than anything. Quit lying to the people. Quit lying to people in this country illegally. Quit lying like it was in the press enterprise of, oh, people are afraid to vote because of the immigration rates. Hey, if you're in this country legally and lawfully and you're legally registered to vote, you should have no problem. If somebody is intimidating you, please let me know. We will broadcast it to the ends of the earth. No, you're finding it slightly more difficult to roll your voter fraud in. Absolutely horrendous that we're doing this. Ran that and check us out on IE Newswire. Great story. New candy store opened down Canyon Crest down Riverside. Owner happened to leave the door unlocked. A dad and his son found it late at night, stayed there, called the security company, and made sure the store was secure before they left. Restores a little bit of hope when we're under these assaults from Gavin Newsom and everything else. And again, check us out. We have uncovered the conspiracy of the construction and what's really going on over there at the White House. And of course, Trump has been deceiving you. Just ask Newsom. It's not going to be a ballroom. But you, fairly soon, will be able to book a room at the White House. This is what's really going to happen. On the east wing of the White House, there's going to be a new 75-story Trump Tower directly connected to the White House. So you will be able to sleep at Trump Tower, be able to walk over and say hello to the president. Probably will be J.D. Vance when this gets done. That's why it's going to take till after. Building the ballroom would not take enough time. Well, he could get that done in 6 months. That's why he's saying, well, it probably won't be done till after my term. There's the grand conspiracy. And remember, you heard it here on this show first. Oh my. What a deal to this before we get to The Great Feminization by Helen Andrews. This just came out in the Daily Mail. Young Americans identifying as trans or non-binary in free fall as experts pinpoint what's behind the shift. Say it ain't so. We were led to believe, or they were trying to convince your kids, more importantly. Call it grooming or whatever you want. But this is an absolutely stunning report in the Daily Mail by Sonia Guglielari, U.S. reporter, from men competing in women's sports to rows over pronouns. America has spent the past decade consumed by transgender debate, but the frenzy may be fading. A new analysis reveals that a number of young people identifying as transgender or non-binary has plunged in recent years. Findings suggest that the rate among 18 to 20-year-olds is almost half, from about 6% at its peak in 22 to 3% in 24. Oh, remember we said kids are identifying it. Gen Z is identifying it 20%. Bogus poll. Even Professor Jen Twenge, who we had on the show, from San Diego State University, psychologist who spent decades researching gender identity trends and results were jarring. She told the Daily Mail, I was surprised just because in previous trends, tranny identity has steadily been increasing. It was a surprising turnaround. Twenge decided to conduct her own analysis after Vancouver-based politics professor Eric Kaufman sparked the controversy last week, which claims trans identification is in a free fall among the young. There's a picture of Jen for those of you watching on the video part. Look at the drop precipitously. Non binaries even crashing harder than transgender, which is even stupider yet. Musk has shared it, Don Jr.'s shared it. It's nothing but, as we say, common sense. It isn't that. On Substack, where Twingie shared her CS data analysis, she wrote, "It turns out identifying as tranny is really in free fall among the young in U.S., so is identifying by non-binary. Twingie is arguably a leading authority on youth and social trends. Her results showed what I believe to be the case, but lacked the precise data on that. Non-binary and binary trans identity trends move together over time." So maybe another one of these myths is going down in flames, as it should, like this one. And remember, I mean, you're probably going to bang your head on the wall or the dashboard or whatever. I'm going to tell you, ladies, you're going to rue the day you tried to turn men into women. It's a great report. The Great Feminization by Helen Andrews broke beginning of the week. I haven't had time to get into it because of all the other fun stuff that has been going on. She writes, in 2019, I read an article about Larry Summers and Harvard that changed the way I looked at the world. The author, writing under the pseudonym Jay Stone, argued that that day Larry Summers resigned as president of Harvard marked a turning point in our culture. The culture woke era could be extrapolated from that moment, from the details of how Summers was canceled, and most of all, who did the canceling? Women. The basic facts Summers were familiar with to me. In 2005, he said, diversifying the science and engineering workforce. Summers gave a talk that was supposed to be off the record. In it, he said that female underrepresentation in hard sciences was partly due to different availability of aptitude and high end, as well as taste differences among men and women, not attributed to socialization. Some female professionals in attendance were offended and the remarks, and they did that and publicized them, and he had to quit as head of Harvard for telling the truth. The essay argued that it wasn't just the women who had canceled the president of Harvard, that they just canceled him in a feminine way. They made emotional appeals rather than logical arguments. Duh. That's the difference between men and women. We've known this since the beginning of history. Women see the world through an emotional plane. Men see the world through a logical plane. Mostly. That's as sure as the day is 24 hours long. When I started talking about the innate differences in attitude between men and women, I just couldn't help breathe because the kind of bias makes me physically ill, said Nancy Hopkins, biologist at MIT. Summers made a public statement clarifying his remarks, but it didn't matter. He didn't say all women, he said most. That's why you see more men in the sciences, math, and that, because they just have a more aptitude to it. It's not saying that there isn't women that can do it, or there isn't very capable women of being in the fields, just that it's naturally going to be a male-dominated field. Let's go back to the studies. Go pick them up. 70% of all females prefer to work for male bosses. Why? Because they say women are catty and vindictive and mean and will go to the ends of the earth to punish you if they ain't getting what they want. This cancellation was feminine, the essay argued, because all cancellations are feminine. Cancel culture is simply what women do whenever there is enough of them in a given organization or field. Feminization thesis, which is the same author later elaborated upon the book length, everything you think of as wokeness is simply an implementation of demographic feminization. So the woke culture, the tranning, you can just identify if you're a boy as a woman, or you can identify as a cat today, or you can identify as a nail on the wall. Whatever you think, that's emotion. That's not logic. Logic is you are a male, you are a female. Basically got 50%, 50%. That's how things work. Deal with it. That's logic. Emotion has no bounds. Emotion can be anything you want. If I don't get what I want, I can turn on the emotional controls and get it. Doesn't matter if it's going to destroy my life, society, somebody else's. It's like this ding dong that ran into the 3 people here in Ontario. Oh, you can't see anything about illegals, and they're here, and that. No. Logic says you don't have people driving any kind of vehicle that can kill you, much less an 80,000-pound rocket going 75 miles an hour, and you can't read or write English in the United States where all the signs and directions are. So leave out the table whether he was higher than a kite or whatever. As it says, as Helen Andrews says, this really unlocks the secrets of where we is. This is an outgrowth of Marxism, post-Obama disillusionment. Told you, he's a racist and deceiver in chief. Much of the important tipping point is when law schools became majority female, which occurred in 2016, and when law firm associates became majority female, which has occurred in 2023. What has happened with our law system? Totally destroyed. Oh, well, we can't punish people. Oh, we can rehabilitate them. Like the dude that ran across the boxer we had earlier, was going to take his Rolex watch, and the dude disarmed him and got him out. He's lucky the dude just didn't beat the living crap out of him. New York Times staff became majority female in 2018. Same trajectory has been seen in many professions and pioneering generations in women's 60s and 70s, increasing female representation across that. Medical schools became majority female in 2019. Women became the majority of the college-educated workforce in 2019. Substance fits true. Everything you think of as wokeness involves prioritizing the feminine over the masculine. What have I told you? The war against the straight white male. This is where it is. Empathy over rationality, safety over risk, cohesion over competition. Let's go back to the Matt Kenseth deal. Taking out Joey Logano. He crashed him a week before I crashed you. The fans go crazy. Jimmy Spencer saying, yeah, people want to be connected. They want, why they like NASCAR? Because they could get Dale Earnhardt's autograph. They could walk from the man in black. Versus Terry Labonte versus this whoever. Bill Elliott. The good guys versus the bad guys. As we've taken that out of society, you've seen it going to hell in a handbasket. Feminine group dynamics favor consensus and cooperation. Men order each other around, but women can only suggest and persuade. Any criticism or negative sentiment, if it absolutely must be expressed, needs to be buried in layers of compliments. Barry Weiss, in her resignation from the New York Times, described how colleagues referred to her as, in her internal Slack messages, as racist, Nazi, and a bigot. Barry Weiss, a lesbian, liberal. is being called a racist in this because she dared step out of this dark world of we're just going to transform, woke, emotionalize everything, and logic is thrown out the deal. They will turn on you. This is why women, in vast majority, want to work for men's bosses, because they don't want to deal with that crap. The point of war is to settle disputes between two tribes. It only works if peace is restored after the dispute is settled. Men, therefore, develop methods for reconciling with opponents and learning to live in peace with people they were fighting yesterday. Females, even in primitive species, are slower to reconcile than males. This is because women's conflicts were traditionally within the tribe over scarce resources, not to be resolved by open conflict, but by covert cooperation with rivals with no clear termination. All these observations match my wokeness, but soon the happy thrill of discovering the new theory eventually gave way to a sinking feeling. If wokeness is really the result of the great feminization, then the eruption of insanity in 2020 wasn't a small taste of what the future holds. There's the COVID con. How you got it. This is how you got the COVID con with the feminization, the great feminization. The rule of law will not survive the legal profession becoming majority female. Title IX, look at the boys and girls sports. We fought that 50 years ago. Oh, we're mean to the girls. Okay, give them the money, let them play. Now, with the legalization, feminization of our legalization, oh, boys can compete on the girls' team. If they can't make it on the boys' team, well, they can go beat up on the girls. You want to know why we're getting this? The great feminization. Started in the 60s with the Now movement, Betty Friedan and those fruitcakes. We're better than men. We can do everything better. Well, yeah, there's a lot of things you can do better. Why don't you concentrate on those? Why don't you let us do the retarded stuff? The most obvious thumb on the scale is anti-discrimination law. It is illegal to employ too few women at your company if women are underrepresented, especially in your higher management. There's a lawsuit waiting to happen. Anti-discrimination law requires that every workplace be feminized. You want to know why this stuff all comes about? Here it is. Lock, stock, and barrel. Because after all, I'm not just a woman, I'm someone with lots of disagreeable opinions who'll find it hard to flourish if society becomes more conflict averse and consensus driven. I'm the mother of sons who will never reach their full potential if they have to grow up in a feminized world. We all are, dependent on institutions like the legal system, scientific research, and democratic politics that support the American way of life, and we will suffer if they cease to perform the tasks they were designed to do. Quit trying to fool Mother Nature or change things. It's not going to work. You will destroy society. Vote no on Prop 50. Here's some of the CBS News reports. Here's we go. We thought.
The prop stands a good chance of passing with less than 2 weeks to go before voting ends. And CBS LA's Tom Waite joins us live to dive deeper into the results of this poll.
Right, some interesting numbers in there, not just the for and against, but kind of where their heads at. Like how they decided to vote.
Oh, there you go.
50. So the poll shows that more than 60% of likely California voters are supporting Prop 50. But remember, this is just a poll, not the actual results. Prop 50 opponents
CBS is already giving up on their own poll. The 60-40, I'm not buying. If it was 51, 52, 53, like most of them coming out, yeah, they're already refuting their own poll on their own newscast.
Point out that special elections have unpredictable turnouts.
Trump wants to stack the deck in his favor.
Make it about President Trump. That's been the strategy for supporters of Prop 50. And in California, that appears to be working.
It is. Center-right freedom liberty types got to get tougher. Make it about Newsom. What a clown he is. You want to continue Newsom's California, where you're going to get killed by an illegal alien on the freeway. You're paying $5 a gallon of gas. You can't afford a home. You can't afford groceries. You can't afford electricity. You can't afford to go to Disneyland. You're a prisoner in your own country, home, and everything else.
CBS YouGov poll shows 62% of likely voters in California are voting yes on Prop 50, 38% voting no. Prop 50 allows Democratic state leaders to redraw California's congressional map in time for next year's election. The move could give Democrats 5 more seats in the U.S. House to challenge President Trump's control.
Period, full stop. So we're running the 110-yard dash.
In the CBS News poll, among those voting yes on Prop 50, 75% said it was to oppose Donald Trump.
There you go. The Democrats know if there was an honest election and an honest debate about what this proposition was, they lose. But if they make it, we hate Trump, that's what people are voting for it. To support Gavin Newsom, only 41%. If the center right had turned this on Gavin Newsom and put him in the king's hat, it would be done. We still got, about 12 days left to go. Here's another CBS 2 report out of Sacramento. Dissing their own poll.
What that meant. Jesus Andrade, a one-time Stockton council member, is also undecided. The viral videos on Porter. That's how you treat
decision. I want to look at her voting record. I want to see how she thinks about.
She could have done better.
That's the governor's race one. Let me see if I can get the right one up there of how. See if this is it. Governor's race poll. And we're doing that. I didn't have it. Anyway, they're giving up their own poll. And they said this 75%. The rats have totally took the narrative, took a losing hand and made a winner out of it. The Republicans are taking a winning hand, snatching victory from the jaws of defeat because they won't attack Newsom. That poll right there, this is showing you right there. If you would attack Newsom on this against all the stupid stuff he's doing, you would win it hands down. The good news is Katie Porter, maybe we'll get to it next week, is a candidate now most Californians will most likely not vote for. Surprisingly, Steve Hilton is the candidate now they say they will most likely vote for. And we'll see if Alex Padilla rolls into this and all sorts of other stuff come in. What a week we have had. The good news is, and I'm not big on big cities, but if this comes to fruition, I might take a trip to Washington, D.C. and book a room in the new Trump Towers off the east wing of the White House. We want to drive the libtards nuts. Since they want a conspiracy theory, we'll give them one. It's been a heck of a week. Do something fun this week. Night of Destruction out of Parasauto Speedway. Looks like it's going to be a nice weekend. Go to the beach. Do something fun. That'll do it for this week. But take it away, Sean.
All right, Roy. Have a good weekend.
We'll give it a big shot.
Bye now.